All I've been seeing pop up are these Scream movies. What does Scream got in common? Stabbing. What have you been seeing all over the news? Stabbing. That spirit has worked its way through the nation. That was one of the missions, right? Like I said in our previous memorandum where I was making, I said, each year there's a new assignment, a different way for people to be caught up, go to prison, murder, all these kinds of stuff. And in these ways, what they're doing is they're giving worship to the demonic spirit that has assigned that task for that year. So what you have been seeing, because like I said, when I was in Virginia, I kept saying, I said, my knives, I'm noticing someone trying to take my knives are coming up missing. And I kept saying in my memorandum, I said, there was going to be something that take place where somebody was going to try to frame me for murder with a knife because you got your fingerprints on it. So I threw out all of my knives, and then I went to go buy some ones that I knew for sure that nobody could say that, well, they got the same type of knives. I went and bought gold knives from Walmart. I intentionally purchased gold knives on purpose because I already knew that a lot of the knives look the same. But nobody's walking around here with a gold knife, right? And saying that, well, we just got it out of nowhere. No. If somebody's walking around with a gold knife, they got it from Walmart or from my house. And I kept telling them, and I said, there's something going down where it's going to be a lot of stabbing. I made a memorandum about it. I said, I saw a mass murder taking place where a man lost it. And he went through, somebody was going through the house stabbing the family members. I saw dead bodies on the countertops. I saw dead bodies in the kitchen. I saw dead bodies in bunk beds. And all of them were stabbed to death. Some of them had their throats slit. And there was blood everywhere. And I kept saying, whose house is this? Because it's not mine. We don't have bunk beds in the house. And then there was a Caucasian family. And then that's when I said that's the assignment for the United States of America when it comes to the demonic realm, is that we are giving worship to people. To these demons by putting it in people's minds to go and stab people. And you know how angry you have to be to go in and stab someone? I remember hearing this. My brother used to tell me about this. He said, you have to, because they were in prison. They spent a lot of time in prison. And they used to have shanks and stuff like that. And he said, you need to understand how angry and how upset someone have to be in order for them to go and decide to stab someone. He said, if someone do it in prison and you have a shank, if the shank is not sharp enough, what it has to do, they have to thrust it so hard to where it has to puncture the skin. And the skin is a thick layer, right? It's not like it's thin where you can just go straight through it. It's a thick layer of skin. And the sharp edge, the shank, this is how he was explaining it to me. He said the shank, if it's dull, you have to be so angry, so upset, so completely out of your mind that you have to do it with such force to where you can puncture the skin with a dull shank. So the same thing goes with the knife. When you are upset with someone, you have to be so deranged, so completely out of your mind that you decided that you were going to take a knife and then shove it in someone's body. Repeatedly. You can feel it as it's going in their body. So it's almost like you're releasing something. So you have two spirits working. You got the spirit of anger. That spirit has taken over that person. And when you are angry, you are deranged. You can't think, you can't feel, you don't understand anything. You just do. So you stabbing somebody, you don't actually really feel that you are stabbing them. You're just doing it. I remember my little brother sharing that with me. And then I remember saying years ago in Virginia, and I kept saying, I said, this is the assignment where there's going to be a lot of deaths where people are going to be dying from stabbing. And what do you see on the news? A lot of people are losing their life. And how did they die? Somebody stabbed them. Because that spirit has been released into the world. And when they listen to certain music, guess what? They're activating the spirit. And the first thing they do, they put on their mind, stab, 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 stab. Because that's the spirit that has tasked the mission. That's the mission, right? He was like, this is my job. My job is to get as many people to die by this way, by being stabbed to death. stabbed, stabbed, stabbed. And as they're doing that, they are giving worship to me. Those people that have done it. And those people that have enacted that spirit, they get a reward. So I was sharing that because I want people to understand why it's important for you to get a hold of your emotions. Right? When you get caught in the heat of the moment, which is why God keeps taking me to that scripture. Don't try to interject in someone else's fight. That's why I sit there and I just watch people fight. And if it lasts longer than about 30 seconds, I'm out of the room. Because at that point, it's no longer really we're trying to rationalize, we're trying to find a solution. At that point, we just release an anger. And at some point, what's going to take in is anger is going to take over them, and they're going to lose their mind, and then somebody's going to lose their life. That's why I always make the memorandums going off in my phone. Whenever there's something in my system I know that irritates me, I said, you got to get it out. Because if you don't get it out in here, what's going to happen is you're going to step out there. Somebody's going to try to trigger you. And then you wouldn't have already released those emotions that you knew you needed to release. So I do it in my phone. And then I let it go. But I'm not an angry person at all. I just know that there's something. Every now and then I will get a hold of something that will irritate me. It bothers it messes with my neurons or whatever it is in my mind. I feel it. And it causes agitation. And then it causes me to want to be irritated. That's why I'm very careful. That's why when I see phone calls and stuff like that, I don't answer the phone. If I start to feel like I'm agitated, I say something's wrong. I'm not going to answer the phone. I'm not going to deal with that. And you're not going to make me do it. You're going to go to voicemail. You're going to leave a voicemail. If you don't leave a voicemail, then it must not be urgent enough for me to contact you back. So I shared that because, like I said, when I see it coming up, what happens? I want to show it to you. I'm seeing The Godfather, Quiet Place, Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 5, Scream 6, Scream 7. We don't watch Scream like that in this house. Don't nobody watch horror movies. Nobody's been watching horror movies in this house. I just want to point that out. I don't watch horror movies. My mom don't watch horror movies. Okay. My dad, he ain't really watching TV at all because most time he want to go to sleep. But for some reason, this is the algorithm. Scream, death, Cain, death, Godfather, murder, scary movie, Jeepers Creepers. And I'm trying to figure out where is this algorithm coming from? Especially now since I've been here, I haven't been watching nothing of the sort, but it just seems to keep popping up. Ads. That's because what someone is trying to do, they're trying to activate that spirit through the spirit of anger. My mom don't really got no knives in here, by the way. She probably got one good knife, all right? And if she leave that on the counter, I quickly put it in the sink. She got one good knife, that's it. One good knife. The rest of them, I don't even use them because I got my preference. But she got, to me, I consider she has one good knife. And she only have about 3 or 4 inside of a kit. That's pretty much it. So I just want to point that out. When people try to do little stuff to try to provoke, the Bible says don't provoke your children. When you see those parents, they end up losing their life, right? Because they thought they knew how they was going to be able to handle it, going and provoking their children, making them mad, irritating them, stuff like that. And then it comes out to this whole tragic thing where the child lost their mind and then end up killing the parent. That's because the parent thought that they had control over those spirits, but they sent it to the wrong thing because you're messing with a demonic spirit. And what happened? The demonic spirit didn't just come for your child. The demonic spirit want everybody in the house. That's why everybody lost their life. That's typically how it works. You think you have control, but you don't. So the Bible says don't provoke your children. Don't make them angry. There are plenty of times I was seeing on the news over the past few years in Virginia where I was seeing that children tried to kill their parents. One child went to a nursing home to find the parent and then smuggled the mother, smuggled the grandmother, and then the mother helped the grandson to do it. That's how bad it was. Do you understand me? There has to be another type of anger to sit there and smuggle somebody. That's a slow death. That's not like a quick thing. That's not like I accidentally pulled the trigger. That's the intention. The intention is I want to watch you suffer. That's a different type of spirit. That's a demonic spirit. And then you guys go around and you tell people it's okay for them to treat their children like X, Y, and Z. And then you try to punish the kid for all the torment that they went through when you're the one that's doing it. And you think you got control over people's lives. That's why I didn't want to be at home with my grandmother when I knew that somebody was going to try to kill her, because what was going to happen place is somebody was going to try to kill her, but they wanted me to be in the house living with her while she died. And I couldn't have that, because I don't go near dead bodies. 2, it was only going to be me and her in the house. There wasn't going to be any witness to say that I didn't do anything. It was just going to be my word against a dead body. That's why I knew I wasn't going to go stay with my grandmother, because I had already knew there was a spirit that was coming for her, and I didn't want to be around for it. So you guys think that you have control over these spirits, and then you wonder how some people end up losing their life in X, Y, and Z is because they didn't have control. They had no idea what they were dealing with. And they thought they was going to get an outcome, but the outcome was somebody went to prison and then somebody died. And that was always the outcome of the devil, or the spirit that they was trying to invoke. Because he only come to kill, steal, and destroy. He not coming to give you guys any rewards.